If you want to invest smarter, our trip to Spain revealed 5 key lessons that every smart investor should know. And we're going to talk about this on the Furlough Capital Real Estate Podcast, where we dive into the intricacies of passive real estate investing. And our overall mission is to equip people to invest wisely in both properties and residence so that together we can build wealth while improving housing. I'm James, and this is my wife, Jessie.
Hey. One of my most favorite things, I don't know if you're going to talk about this, but one of my most favorite things while traveling is especially if there's a beach or something, is just a beach comb. And even hiking.
Oh, a beach comb, not the beach itself.
Beach combing.
What is it?
I love beaches. Well, not a beach comb, the act of beach combing. So you walk along the beach and you look for pretty rocks and shells and things. And I don't know. I'm a nerd like that. I collect rocks.
Is that nerd? I don't know.
I don't know if that's nerdy. Something else. Weird.
Yeah,
whatever.
Weird. That's good.
I collect rocks wherever we go. And so then I have them. I haven't written on them where they came from, but I have collections of them in our garden and in little flower pots. And I see them and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that. And especially unique rocks, I remember. I'm like, oh, I know where I got this from. I remember the exact time and place that I found this.
Huh.
Other rocks, I'm like, yeah, I don't know why I saved this. It's a rock.
Makes sense.
But
you collect a lot of them. I mean, you're not talking like 4 or 5.
No, I collect a lot. I mean, not big ones because then I have to carry them and I have to pack them in luggage.
But it's 20, 30?
Yeah, 20, 30. So this time around, I collected them because I knew I was going to use them for a special purpose.
Okay.
And so I collected shells, rocks, and I turned them into jewelry.
Nice.
And then I gifted those to people, which is it's so fun.
Well, in the same way, we have gift wrapped 5 lessons that hopefully you will find as valuable as rock jewelry.
I was having a friend look through them and they told me, I don't wear rocks.
There you go.
And I was like, hey, it's from Spain. Hang it up somewhere.
Well, you know what? Not everyone invests in real estate. It's all good.
There you go.
But if you do, you're really going to like this.
Yeah.
And so, yes, we recently returned from a trip to Spain. We were there for 2 weeks. It was great. We ditched the kids, had a ton of fun. We spent some time in Barcelona and then also in Malaga, which is on the southern coast. Yeah. It's like an hour away from Gibraltar, if that means anything to you. And just absolutely beautiful. Yeah. That was there. And, but yeah, I wanted to pull together 5 lessons that I got from the trip and just talk about that and how we can apply that to real estate investing.
There you go.
Yeah.
There's always a real estate twist.
There always is. So let's talk about the first one, which I'm trying to think if I want you to try to guess what some of them are. I feel like some of them are pretty obvious. So the first one is all about the power of location and lifestyle design. All right. So Malaga itself, it's pretty cool. It's actually become kind of a hotspot for digital nomads and retirees. Yeah. And that's primarily because the weather's amazing. Yep. So remember our severe weather
Oh my goodness. I was explaining that to someone. Severe was what I would call a drizzle.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, there was maybe a little wind.
Off and on rain, for sure.
Yeah.
And that was a severe weather warning. What kind of place is this where that's a severe weather warning? Which it turns out it only rains 40 days out of the year.
We got one of them.
So yeah, I mean, we were there in the dead of winter.
Yeah, I mean, Well, and it was in the 60s, 70s. We were wearing jackets at different points, but not really much of anything.
Wasn't.
And they're some of the people who live there all the time were parkas, puffy jackets, hats, gloves. I mean, it was wow, okay. I can see how this is severe when you're used to just sun all the time.
Regularly gets over 100 there, apparently, normally. So we picked a good time of year. Yeah. So the point is, location matters. Yeah. Right? And picking a place like that where it is all about the sun, it's about the coast, and just kind of the overall vibe, I think is important. And so when you're investing, shocker, this is rule number 1, right? Is about location.
Think about location.
And it just further reinforced to me, just how different locations can be and how important that they are. And so you obviously, when you're investing, you want to try to find a place that's a good location. And that's not just, yes, obviously you can go after vibes, but one of the ways that you define a good location are through some demographic trends, right? Our population's increasing, our employment rates going up, going down, that kind of stuff. And so, just that reminder. Go ahead.
Well, and one thing I keep thinking in my brain too is like, you're not necessarily finding a location that you would like to be in,
Yeah.
but if it's an investment property, you're finding a location that other people might find valuable, and perhaps for different reasons.
That's fair.
You know, you might want a place to retire and go skiing, but
a
rental might, not us, but a rental might be someplace warmer or have beach vibes or have,
Or it's just more important to be near jobs and transportation.
Right. So it kind of depends a little bit on what you're looking for. And
that's fair.
You know, as you're thinking through what the rental is going to be used for.
Yeah.
Location does matter.
Yeah, and again, this is no surprise, right? This is definitely the number one rule.
Sure.
And I think it just was it was just continued to be reinforced by going to a place that was such a different environment. That's important. All right, rule number 2, or lesson number 2.
Mm-hmm.
I got like a double title here. It's basically, would Gaudi approve? And this is comparing long-term value versus short-term trends.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yes.
So who's this Gaudi guy?
He was an
architect.
Gaudi. He was an architect and invested a huge portion of his life, about 40 years, into one singular architectural project.
Yeah. Which he didn't even finish.
He didn't finish.
As a matter of fact, it's still going on. What's it called again? I always
La Sagrada Familia.
Ah, yes. And that is
a basilica.
In
a church. Barcelona.
Basically.
Yep.
It's ginormous.
It's huge. I was trying to describe it to someone, and it's huge. It's as if you put, I don't know, like a skyscraper in the middle of a town.
I found
like a little tiny
an aerial photo,
country town.
Which I'm like, this just describes it,
right?
Like, because you just have to
it's
see it. It's enormous. And the point is, like, there are other buildings too that are over 100 years old that people are living there, and a lesson is to just really think long term, right? Both in terms of your investment strategy and in terms of the types of properties that you want to buy. You really want to focus on ones that are going to be around a while, that have, quote, good bones.
Yeah.
Is the idea, because it's going to reduce your maintenance costs. It's going to make it so, like, you can hold on to it for a long time if you want to, and it's a selling point when you do eventually go to sell it.
Sure.
And,
I also, like, this is maybe more of a negative spin on things. It's like, maybe don't invest in things that are over designed or like overdone. You know, it's kind of like, okay, I get it. This was like a passion project, and it was.
Yeah, I guess if he had investors, that would be quite frustrating, because they're still waiting to get their return.
Yeah, they're just like, when is enough?
Obviously,
man?
We paid some money to go take a tour, so it's not negative. I mean, it probably is negative, but it's not totally net zero.
I don't know how. If it was investors or who constructed, or
it's all paid by the government. It's got to be my guess.
Who knows? But
I don't know. Maybe it's the Catholic Church is paying for it.
I don't know. But anyways, that's kind of what it makes me think of, is like, okay, do you really need to keep going on like making this better and bigger and more and
at some point in time we just need a house to worship in.
Right. Yeah, it's like, okay, I think enough is enough.
Okay.
You know, so it's like,
that's fair.
Just invest wisely
don't overcomplicate it.
Yeah.
But
get good bones.
When in doubt, good bones.
Don't get overly extravagant mansion if you don't need that.
Totally. Totally. All right, number 3. This is investors versus the law, Spain edition. So I don't know if you caught this. I was reading something about it, but Spain, and particularly in Barcelona, is significantly cracking down on short-term rentals.
Yeah, you mentioned that to me. Because we stayed in short-term rentals, Airbnb types of things.
Yeah.
But
I can't remember. I think it's like 4 years from now. They're phasing them out. That's totally outlawing them. Just like, no.
Not even a thing.
We're not doing short-term rentals anymore, which I haven't read the law. I don't know. But it might be like, perhaps like the place that we stay at, they officially become a, quote, hotel, a small boutique hotel.
Interesting.
Like a one-room hotel. Maybe, I don't know. Or they have to go through a different
How
system.
is that different between like a hotel versus a short-term rental? Is just time that people spend there?
That's a good question. Well, I mean, so I know, like, for example, Albany, they're changing the rules for some of their short-term rentals versus hotels, because there's specifically a hotel tax that Airbnbs and, vacation rentals are supposed to pay. But interestingly, the city of Albany doesn't have a mechanism for actually collecting it. And so even though there's a rule to do it, it's
They
not
don't.
enforceable because they can't do it. And so part of what they're doing is they're saying, okay, we're actually creating the system. And so now we're going to require everyone to register so that we can make sure that we're collecting the tax and get it from you, which I get.
Yeah.
And so maybe there's going to be something like that where it's like technically vacation rentals aren't a thing anymore. They're all now labeled, quote, hotels. My guess is the definition has to do with like the number of rooms or something.
Well, and to the consumer, the person staying there, it virtually would be the same process.
I think so. I don't know.
Huh.
Yeah, but they're cracking down on it. And so especially like vacation rentals, it's really important that you pay attention to the laws and what's allowed, what's not allowed. And as a general rule, they say a place that doesn't have any laws yet for them is not good because eventually they will.
And so you're going to have to change something.
Yeah, so ideally you actually go to a place where, like Albany, right? They're thinking it through. Here's what to do. So you go, okay, that's a safer place to do a vacation rental.
Yeah.
And that's true for long-term, for just regular homes, for other investments. It's good to know what are we allowed to do, what are we not allowed to do, even just from a tenant landlord standpoint to a building standpoint.
Makes sense.
All that stuff.
Yeah.
It's just super important.
The law.
And to recognize, like if you think about if you own a vacation rental and then they pass this law, like, dude, you might like, oh, great, now what do we do?
Right. Yeah. It's like,
know,
do you
just 'cause-
turn it in? Do you sell it? Do you turn it into a?
Yeah, because everyone knows about it,
long-term
right?
rental?
It's not like you can just like on the sly sell this thing now because it's like, no, like we know
It's like this
we
is
know
how
it's
we were
coming.
using it.
Yeah. A lot of the stuff on the vacation rental in particular is that the concern is that it's taking housing away from long-term people. So it's driving the cost of housing up in general because it's reducing the supply of homes. That's the argument. And so to make it harder to have a vacation rental, more people will opt not to do it. Therefore, the supply of long-term homes will increase. Therefore, not necessarily reducing the price because no one actually wants that, but retarding the growth of prices, I guess. Yeah.
I mean,
Interesting.
I get it.
Yeah. All right. Number 4. You ready for this? Okay. We're learning all sorts of stuff. Okay. Number 4 is the role of emotions and experience in property value. So you might have noticed this. There was definitely like a vibe that was around in different plazas.
Yeah, for sure.
And so it's you and I, we have a saying that talks about you fall in love with the deal, not the property. But at the same time, people who, when they're looking to rent, they don't think that way at all.
Nope.
It's all about
about the property,
the feel,
the vibe,
for it.
the feels.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
And so the question that that you want to ask yourself is like, how can you make it more desirable through potentially some small, maybe even some big improvements? Because you want to have that emotional connection.
Okay. So it's finding the deal, finding something where the numbers work, but then looking at opportunity for adding that the feels.
Yeah. So I think about
The
our very
vibe.
first duplex was one where it had a pretty big living room and then it had what felt like a really squished kitchen.
Yeah.
And when you had the table in there, it was just
Did not
too
have
much.
the vibes.
Correct. It felt like it wasn't
It was
sized
cramped.
correctly.
Yeah.
And so what we did was we took like a third of the carpet out and put in some laminate that made it more like a dining area. And now all of a sudden it became very obvious, we shouldn't have the kitchen table in the kitchen. We should have it in the quote old living room in the dining area, which suddenly opened up the kitchen a lot and made it seem really, really big to the point where we could add more storage and it fit. Yeah. And like that was a way that we were able to change the flow, the feng shui, the vibe of the place. And so you want to look for those kind of deals where you can really add some value to it to make it better. Or at the very least, if something's funky, you got to just like, this is funky. Like you can't
embrace it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I've recently started managing another property, and the units, they are all funky. It's got a cool landing area when you first get into it, and then there's some stairs that go up, and it's one of those where like, the rooms are weird. You're like, wait, how many bedrooms are in this place? Like, it's just kind of a weird layout. And then the closets themselves are, cause it's on a second floor and it's got the roof that comes down on a slope. So the closets are like, there's a little door and then there's like a hallway essentially. Like, I think this is the
that
closet.
works.
It's
Yeah.
funky is what it is.
Yeah.
Now there's going to be some people who are like, oh, this is cool. It's cute. It's different. I like it. But you also got to be like, dude, this is just weird. Like
We know it's weird.
yeah, and in some ways that becomes a discount because that is a pain for someone, even though they think it's funky.
Sure.
At the end of the day,
Well,
it's
that
gonna
was
be a
like
pain.
one of the places that we stayed in. The layout was a little weird, but they
Yeah.
embraced it. It was like, it had a skinny little living area
yeah.
space,
Mm-hmm.
but then they created this like loft area
Yeah.
to kind of give you more space, and you could spread out a little bit because that skinny little area,
Yeah.
had it was like a hallway that had a couch in it.
Yeah.
Which
Essentially.
was like, okay,
yeah, it was a living
that's a
room.
little weird, but okay, I see it.
Yeah,
Like,
the
they
loft
made it
was super
work.
cool because they built it inside the room. Like,
Yeah.
it wasn't
It was strange.
like it had like I-beams and metal, and they built like this frame. Then they just put plywood over it.
Right.
They're like, it's now a loft.
Yeah.
And then the stairs were crazy.
Oh, they were
steep.
they were super steep. I had to pay attention going up and down those stairs.
Yeah. It was
But-
practically like going up a
A
ladder.
ladder.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was pretty nuts. But yeah, no, they made it work.
Yeah.
And it was all right. Okay. All right. Here's my last big lesson.
'Kay.
Unless you want to tack on a lesson.
No, I'm good.
All right. I have a new term I'm going to use. Except I always struggle to say the word, so it is what it is. It's the Iberico investing principle.
Iberico.
Iberico investing principle. Yes. Why great assets take time.
Uh-huh. Nice.
So I thought it was interesting. I kind of have like two lessons really that
Are you going to explain jamón ibérico?
yes.
Okay, good.
I kind of have like two
feel like that
lessons
needs to-
that I got from this, and one of them was a surprise lesson, I guess,
Oh.
but related to it. So, jamón ibérico
Mhm.
it's their like it's a cured ham.
Yeah.
So they raise hogs. They feed them. What was it like acorns?
Acorns.
Yeah, feed them super nice acorns, like free range, all this stuff, and then they take them.
Chestnuts or something. Yeah.
They slaughter them. They take a leg, and then they just like
They
they
salt
essentially
it.
they put it in a pile of salt.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just like rub some salt on
No,
it. It's
like a
like
mountain of salt.
totally on it. And then they leave that in there for a little while,
Mhm.
and then they take it out and they hang it up. Not for days, not for months, but for years.
Mhm.
This thing totally dries out. There's an art to all of it.
Mm.
And then what they do is they put the leg on a lathe, essentially.
Yeah.
It's this weird thing. It's like they
a
grab both ends of it,
carving lathe.
but it doesn't rotate. Instead, they take a flexible knife and they just carve off little
Thin strips.
slices.
Yeah.
Yeah, is what it is. I mean, it's one of those where you're like, wait, isn't this just bacon that's been cured? Like, yeah, no,
Yeah.
it is.
It's super
It was
fancy. Yeah.
Everywhere,
Like
by the way.
charcuterie.
And it was delicious. Yeah, that's essentially what it was, charcuterie meat. And it was, but what was interesting, it was highly sought after. Like everyone wanted it, including me. It was amazing. My surprise lesson is when we first were going there, I was really excited about chocolate dipped churros. I was like, yes, this is going to be the food. I'm going to eat so much of it. Amazing. There was like one place that had it. That was
Yeah.
it. And even then it was like a food cart type of place.
Like a mall food court type
yeah,
of.
yeah. I mean, it was delicious. Don't get me wrong. I had it. But everywhere else had this Iberico meat. And I mean, it was like all the different places you could go. It was there. And it was clearly
Yeah.
like, this
The
is
grocery
what we're
stores,
about.
the food markets. Yeah. Everywhere.
And so that was a surprise for me. And I think that happens with real estate investing sometimes where you walk in thinking, oh, I'm going to get this thing out of it. And then when you're in the midst of it, you end up going, oh, actually, there's this other benefit to it that I wasn't even thinking about, didn't even realize. Or another challenge or something like that.
Sure.
And so I think that lesson is just like, yeah, you know what? You may have expectations walking in. That's okay. But
Yeah. Be willing
also
to be
change
flexible.
for something baconly delicious. And
Some would say even better.
yeah, the other yes, definitely a little bit slightly healthier for you. But then the other, like the more obvious lesson is just, you know what, investing well, it takes time. You can't just rush in,
Yeah.
expect it. Even if you're doing a flip, like that's not just do it in a day or even wholesaling. Which those are full-time jobs. So I don't necessarily recommend them.
Sure.
But especially as a passive investor, it's like, no, you got to be willing to say like, nope, I'm in this for the long haul.
Yeah.
This is, even if I'm doing a short-term loan, like I'm doing it and then I got to roll it in and I got to do the effort. I got to look at it. It's not as simple as the stock market of opening up an app, transferring some funds and being done.
Yeah.
It's more involved than that. But like the Iberico, I think it produces something that's really good and enjoyable and ultimately sought after
Yeah.
that people want. So it's the Iberico investing
I
principle.
like it. You got to tend to your pigs, people.
Exactly. Oh, man.
We watched a little video about it, and
Yeah.
that farmer looked pretty happy.
He did look pretty chill.
Just wandering in the beautiful hills.
I did
of
love,
Spain.
though, that they were talking about how they obviously spend a couple years raising the hogs.
Oh, yeah.
They then spend years curing it. And they get to the part of the video where the guy's doing the carving. He's like, this is the hardest part. I was like, is it? It's like, this requires the most skill. Does it? Pretty sure that farmer.
He's working pretty hard.
Yeah.
Chasing pigs around.
But I get it. I get what he's trying to say, I think.
It's the art of it all.
It's the art of it. Yeah. Just get it nice and
They
thin.
did get super intense about their carving knives.
Oh, yeah.
And
And they all do it manually. I noticed that none of
that's
them were
true.
on
It's not a
an
machine.
auto slicer, which I thought was.
which kind of makes sense. I mean, the legs are like weirdly shaped.
Dude,
like,
I'm
I don't
100%
know.
certain you could invent a little machine that would do that auto slicing.
Probably.
But I mean, well,
Sure, it
ultimately,
probably
what
exists
you do
somewhere.
is you don't leave it on the bone. You take it off, make it a chunk, and then you
And then slice it.
put it through a slicer like that. I mean, that's ultimately what we do.
No, it probably
If
changes
you're
the
into that,
flavor.
but oh, dude, 100%, they would tell you that.
Oh, yeah.
You got to go with the
With the grain
or
of
the marble or whatever. Dude, I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
All I know is it was good.
I also think like instant bacon's not bad either, but
Blech.
oh, I know, but yeah, no, it was good. So, anyways, but yeah, so it was a good trip, and I think those were my 5 lessons. Just quickly to review them, I think you want to keep location in mind. I think that continues to be the number 1 lesson. You want to have the would Gaudi approve of it? Is this going to be around for the long term? Is this good? Does it have good bones? Is that lesson? You really want to pay attention to the laws to make sure that whatever you're doing is in alignment with where the government's headed. And you want to try to keep in mind, what are those emotional appeals that people
Vibe.
renting from you are going to want, or ultimately buying, are going to want from you, and how can you tweak the property to make it align with that? And then finally, it's the Iberico investing principle of being it for the long haul, and recognize that you are going to invest. It doesn't necessarily have an instant payoff, and that's totally okay. So ultimately, it turns out to be something delicious.
There you go.
So there you go. Those are my rules, or not my rules. They are kind of rules.
Lessons.
Those are my lessons. Yeah, and so hopefully you found those interesting. And if you are interested in learning more about investing with us or having us manage some of your properties, we would love to chat with you. You can check us out at furlough.com. So with that, thanks for listening and have a great day.